The night that changed everything. If someone had sat me down and told me that my marriage would fall apart in front of 200 people on our anniversary, I would have laughed. I would have thought they were joking because we were so happy. But that is exactly what happened. I was standing in the middle of a very fancy and beautiful room that looked out over the Chicago River. In my hand, I held a glass of bubbly juice, ready to make a speech. I wanted to celebrate 15 years of being married to my wife, Emily. I had spent so much time planning every single part of this night by myself. I did it because I wanted her to feel how much I loved her. For a few months, it felt like we were drifting apart, like two boats moving in different directions, and I wanted to bring us back together. The room was full of flowers and soft lights. I could see our friends and our family all smiling at us. I felt so proud of the life we had built. Then the music changed. The band started playing a new song. Emily looked right into my eyes and gave me a soft smile. But then, she did something I never expected. She walked right past me. Instead of taking my hand to dance, she walked into the arms of a man I didn't know. He was wearing a very nice, perfectly fitting black suit. He pulled her close to him, and she laughed. They danced together like two people who were completely lost in their own little world. All around us, our friends and family clapped and cheered. They thought it was all part of the big surprise I had planned. I felt a deep pain in my chest. It felt like my heart was being squeezed by a cold hand. I quietly took off my wedding ring and placed it on the table next to our big anniversary cake. Without saying a word, I walked out. I truly believed I had just seen the most hurtful thing a person could ever see. My mind was spinning, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. #, the pain of walking away. The moment I stepped outside, the freezing Chicago air hit my face. It was so cold it should have made me shiver, but the storm of feelings inside me was much stronger than the weather. I walked toward my truck with my head down. My feet felt heavy like lead. Before I could even get to the door, my phone started buzzing in my pocket. It buzzed 3 times. I looked at the screen and saw Emily's name. She was calling me over and over. I just couldn't bring myself to answer the phone. I was too hurt to talk. For a long time, I had been ignoring small things that didn't seem right. Emily had started staying late at the place where she helped sell things for her job. She would get messages on her phone and smile at them, but she never told me who they were from. She even put a new password on her phone. For years, she always left it unlocked right next to me on the nightstand. Every time I asked her if she was okay or if something was wrong, she would just kiss my forehead. She told me she was just feeling a lot of pressure from her work. I really wanted to believe her. Trust had always been the main thing that kept our marriage strong, like the floor of a house. But as I drove away from that hotel, I kept asking myself a very sad question. Did everyone else know the truth before I did? I thought about all the times I had shared my dreams with her, and I wondered if those dreams were now broken into tiny pieces. #, a long night of questions. I didn't go home. I went to a small hotel on the other side of town and checked into a room. I sat there in the dark silence. I spent the whole night replaying every second of the evening in my head, over and over, until the sun started to come up. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, my phone rang again. It wasn't Emily this time. It was my younger sister, Megan. Her voice sounded like she had been crying. She asked me, "Ryan, where are you? Emily is so worried and has been looking everywhere for you." I let out a mean laugh. I told her that Emily should just go ask the man she was dancing with. Megan didn't say anything for a moment. Then she said something that made me very confused. She said, "Ryan, I don't think you saw the whole story tonight." Before I could ask her what she meant by that, the phone call ended. A few minutes later, a new message popped up on my phone. It was from a number I didn't recognize. It was a picture. The photo showed Emily giving that same man a hug behind the stage. But in this picture, I could see something I missed before. Leaning against the wall next to them was a wheelchair with the man's name on it. I sat there wondering why a man who looked like a perfect dancer would ever need a wheelchair. My head started to throb with all these new questions that had no answers yet. Seeking the real story. I hardly slept at all. As soon as it was morning, I drove back to the place where we had the party. I was looking for answers, even though I was scared of what I might find. The big room was empty now. There was just a crew of people cleaning up the decorations I had spent months of my savings to buy. One of the workers saw me and walked over. He was very kind and handed me a small envelope. He told me that my wife had asked him to give it to me if I decided to leave early. I opened it and saw Emily's handwriting. The note said, "Ryan, if you are reading this, it means everything has gone very wrong. Please, don't make up your mind about us until you find out who Daniel really is. Tonight was more important than you can imagine. I never, ever wanted to hurt you." My hands were shaking as I folded the paper. If she wasn't having a secret romance, why did she let me feel so embarrassed in front of everyone we love? And who is this man named Daniel? I felt like I was walking through a thick fog. #, the truth comes out. I finally found Emily. She was sitting by herself on a wooden bench outside a place where people go to get their bodies healthy again after being hurt. Her eyes were red and puffy from crying so much. She didn't look like the happy woman I saw on the dance floor the night before. Before I could even say hello, she spoke in a very quiet voice. She said, "You deserve to know everything, even if you decide you can't forgive me." She explained that Daniel was not her lover. Daniel had been the best friend of her older brother. 15 years ago, right before Emily and I met, there was a very bad car crash. Emily's brother didn't make it, and Daniel was the only one who lived. Daniel had spent many years trying to heal from his injuries. Just recently, the doctors told him he was going to lose the ability to walk again. His one big wish was to have one last dance to remember the people they had lost in that crash. Emily kept it a secret because she wanted the dance to be a surprise tribute for everyone. She never thought about how it would look to me from across the room. Her story answered my biggest question, but I still had one more. I felt a small bit of relief, but there was still a big cloud of mystery over the last few months of our life together. #, why she hid the truth. I asked her quietly, "If there was nothing going on with him, why have you been so cold and distant for months?" Emily put her head down and finally told me the secret she had been hiding. She wasn't hiding an affair. She was hiding because she was scared. During a normal checkup, the doctors found a very serious problem with her heart. She might even need a big surgery. She had been going to all those doctor meetings by herself because she didn't want me to worry. She knew I was working extra hours to keep our family business running, and she didn't want to add more stress to my life. All those late nights, the secret phone calls, and the hidden messages were not for another man. They were for her doctors, the insurance people, and for Daniel to plan that special dance. She thought that by carrying the heavy weight all by herself, she was helping me. But instead, her silence almost broke our marriage apart. I stood there feeling very bad. I was ashamed that I let my fear take the place of the trust we had built for 15 years. Emily also said she was sorry. She knew she should have told me the truth a long time ago instead of trying to control everything on her own. We realized that even when you mean well, keeping secrets can cause the very problems you are trying to avoid. We held each other for a long time, right there on that bench, letting the truth wash over us like a gentle rain. #, a new beginning. We both said we were sorry. I was sorry for leaving without asking questions, and she was sorry for locking me out of her life. We both knew that not talking to each other had almost cost us everything. Daniel came over to us with tears in his eyes. He shook my hand and thanked me for listening. In that moment, I realized that the real problem wasn't another person. The real enemy was the silence between us. 6 months have passed since that night. Emily's heart surgery went very well, and she is getting stronger every day. She can walk in the park now and enjoy the sunshine. Our marriage feels very different now. We go to see a group of caring experts who help us talk about our feelings. We are learning how to have conversations that feel a little scary or uncomfortable instead of just staying quiet. We are rebuilding the trust that the secrets had hurt. The photo from our anniversary used to make me feel sad and angry, but now it reminds me of something important. It reminds me that assuming things can be very dangerous when you let fear grow. Daniel is still working on getting better, and every Christmas, he sends us a sweet card. He always thanks us for being there for him during his hardest time. Looking back, I understand why I felt like walking out. Anyone would have felt that way. But I have learned that what we see in one sad moment isn't always the whole story. Sometimes, the biggest test for a couple isn't about surviving a lie. It is about having the heart to find the truth before you walk away for good. We now know that love isn't just about the happy parties or the nice speeches. It is about being brave enough to share the hard things too. Our home is full of laughter again, and we make sure to leave our phones open, not because we have to, but because we have nothing left to hide from one another. Every day is a gift that we open together, and we are so thankful for the second chance we were given to get things right. We are stronger now than we have ever been, and we look forward to many more years of being a team.